August 14, 1942. 25,000 feet above the Atlantic Ocean near Iceland, Oberleutnant Klaus Hoffmann looked out from his Focke-Wulf Condor patrol bomber. The sky was clear. The sea was calm. His crew was relaxed. They'd flown this route 100 times. No American fighters had the range to reach them this far out. They were safe. Or so they thought. Then someone shouted. Hoffmann turned his head. Two shapes dove from the sun. They weren't like any plane he'd seen before. Twin booms, twin engines, a pod in the center. What the hell were those? The shapes came fast, too fast. Before he could react, tracers lit up the sky. Not the light pop of rifle rounds, something bigger, much bigger. 4 50-caliber machine guns firing from the nose. The sound was like thunder. Hoffmann felt his plane shudder. Metal tore, glass shattered. His radio operator screamed. Then nothing. His Condor was falling, spinning, on fire. They were the first German crew to meet the P-38 Lightning in combat. They didn't survive to warn anyone. For 3 years, the Luftwaffe had owned the skies over Europe. Their pilots were good. Their planes were proven. The Messerschmitt Bf-109 could outturn almost anything. The FW-190 could outroll anything. German aces had shot down hundreds of Allied planes. They'd seen British Spitfires and Hurricanes. They'd fought Russian Yaks. They weren't impressed. Then America entered the war. German pilots heard about the new American fighters coming. They heard the names: P-39 Airacobra, P-40 Warhawk, P-47 Thunderbolt. They laughed. These planes looked slow. They looked heavy. They looked like they belonged on the ground, not in the air. German commanders told their pilots not to worry. American industry could build tanks and trucks, sure. But fighters? Real fighters? That took skill. That took experience. The Germans had been building warplanes for years. What could America possibly teach them? Then the P-38 arrived. At first, the Germans laughed at this one, too. Look at that weird shape. Twin booms sticking out like insect legs. A pilot sitting in a bathtub in the middle. One German pilot said it looked like two planes glued together wrong. Another said it was too big to dogfight, too complex to be reliable. They called it the twin boom demon, but not with fear, with mockery, with contempt. That mockery lasted about 5 minutes into their first real fight. November 28, 1942, North Africa. Messerschmitt 109 pilots from Jagdgeschwader 53 intercepted American bombers. Easy pickings, they thought. Then they saw the escorts, P-38 Lightnings. The German pilots attacked. They used their standard tactics: get above, dive down, use speed to escape. But the Lightnings stayed with them. Worse, the Lightnings were faster. One German pilot tried to dive away. The P-38 followed, and kept following, and kept gaining. He pulled up. The Lightning pulled up harder. Its twin engines screamed. Its nose stayed locked on target. Then the American fired. 4 50-caliber machine guns and 1 20-millimeter cannon, all mounted in the nose, all firing together, all hitting the same spot. The Messerschmitt exploded. 7 German fighters went down that day. 0 American losses. The jokes stopped. What made the P-38 so different? Speed. The Lightning could hit 414 miles per hour in level flight. That was faster than the Bf-109, faster than the FW-190, faster than almost anything in the sky. 2 Allison engines, 1,200 horsepower each. Both had something the Germans didn't have in their fighters: turbo-superchargers. That meant the P-38 didn't lose power at high altitude. At 30,000 feet, where German planes were gasping for air, the Lightning was just getting started. Range? The P-38 could fly over 1,000 miles on internal fuel, with drop tanks over 2,000 miles.
German fighters had to land and refuel after an hour. The Lightning could stay up for 6 hours, 7 hours, sometimes more. It could escort bombers all the way to the target and all the way back. No German fighter could do that. Then there were the guns. German and British fighters had their guns spread out in the wings. That meant their bullets spread out too. You had to get close, real close. The P-38 had all its guns in the nose. They fired straight ahead in a tight group. You could kill from 600 yards away, maybe more. The bullets all hit the same point. One pilot said it was like having a shotgun that only fired at the center of the target. Another said the 20mm cannon shells hit so hard they'd seen a plane in half. German pilots started seeing P-38s everywhere, over France, over Germany, over Italy. They'd look up and see that distinctive shape, twin booms, twin engines, death coming from above. Johannes Steinhoff, a German ace who'd shot down dozens of Allied planes, met the P-38 over North Africa. He wrote later that his old Messerschmitt was maybe a little faster in a dive, maybe. But trying to dogfight a Lightning, he said that was asking to die. The American could turn, could climb, could run, and you never knew which one he'd do until it was too late. The worst part for German pilots? The numbers. America wasn't building dozens of P-38s or hundreds. They were building thousands. Over 10,000 P-38 Lightnings rolled off the production lines between 1941 and 1945. Lockheed's factory in Burbank, California, was pumping out 120 planes every single month at peak production. 120 every month. Germany couldn't compete with that. Their factories were being bombed. Their supplies were running low. They were building maybe 20 or 30 fighters a month total across all their companies. America was building 120 of just one type of fighter. And that was just one factory, just one plane model. The P-47 Thunderbolt factories were building even more. The P-51 Mustang factories too. German commanders did the math, and it was hopeless. One German pilot captured in Tunisia was found in an Allied camp pointing at the sky, screaming the same words over and over. Der Gabelschwanz-Teufel, the fork-tailed devil. He wouldn't stop. He wouldn't calm down. The Lightning had broken his mind. In the Pacific, things were even worse for the Axis. The Japanese had started the war with excellent pilots and good planes. The Zero could turn on a dime. But the Zero was light, fragile, no armor, no self-sealing fuel tanks. One good burst and it came apart. The P-38 was the opposite. Heavy, tough, built like a tank. Japanese pilots tried their turning tactics. The Lightning pilots didn't turn with them. They didn't have to. They'd dive down from above, fire, then zoom away using their speed. The Zero couldn't catch them, couldn't escape them, couldn't hurt them. Richard Bong, America's top ace, flew the P-38 in the Pacific. He shot down 40 Japanese planes, 40, all in a Lightning. He once flew straight through the debris of a plane he'd just destroyed, just kept firing and flew through the explosion. His plane came back with dents and scratches, still flying. Thomas Maguire, the second highest ace, flew P-38s too, 38 kills. 7 of the top 8 American aces in the Pacific flew Lightnings. The plane was an ace maker. Over 1,800 Japanese aircraft fell to P-38s in the Pacific. 1,800, more than any other American fighter shot down in that theater.
April 18, 1943. The most important P-38 mission of the war. American code breakers intercepted Japanese messages. Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto, the man who'd planned Pearl Harbor, was flying to inspect troops. They knew where, they knew when, they knew his route. But the target was almost 1,000 miles away. No fighter could fly that far, fight, and come back. Except one. 16 P-38 Lightnings took off from Guadalcanal. They flew low, just above the waves. They flew silent. No radio chatter. 420 miles over the open ocean. Then they saw him. 2 Japanese bombers with 60 escorts. The Lightnings attacked. Yamamoto's plane went down in flames. The admiral died in the jungle. Japan's greatest naval strategist was gone, shot down by the fork-tailed devil. Japanese morale never recovered. The P-38 had changed the war with one mission, one long-range strike that only the Lightning could fly. The numbers kept piling up. In Europe, P-38s flew over 130,000 combat missions. They shot down German and Italian planes by the hundreds. In the Pacific, they flew even more. They escorted bombers. They strafed ground targets. They flew photo reconnaissance. 90% of all aerial photographs taken over Europe during the war came from P-38s fitted with cameras instead of guns. The F-5 reconnaissance version could fly higher and faster than almost any interceptor. German pilots would see them streak past at 40,000 feet. Too high, too fast, nothing they could do. America built 10,037 P-38 Lightnings, total, every version, every variant. Germany built about 33,000 fighters of all types during the entire war, but they were spread across dozens of models, dozens of factories. The P-38 was just one plane from one company, and America built 10,000 of them while still building tens of thousands of other fighters too. German pilots saw the writing on the wall. They couldn't win a war of numbers. They couldn't win a war of quality. The American planes were better. The American factories were bigger. The American pilots were learning fast. By 1944, experienced German aces were telling new pilots one thing: if you see lightning, run. Don't fight. Don't try to be a hero. Just run. Get out. Survive. Because you can't beat it. Some listened. Most didn't. Most died. German pilot Franz Schiess became known as the leading lightning killer in the Luftwaffe. He claimed 17 P-38 shot down. 17. That sounds impressive until you remember how many P-38s there were. 17 out of 10,000. And Schiess? He died in combat on September 2, 1943. Shot down by what? A P-38. Even the best German pilots couldn't beat the odds forever. After the war, Saburo Sakai, one of Japan's greatest aces, was asked about American fighters. He said the P-38 destroyed the morale of Zero pilots. It was faster, tougher, hit harder. You couldn't turn it because the American pilots wouldn't turn with you. You couldn't outrun it because it was faster. You couldn't hurt it because it was armored. He said fighting a P-38 was like fighting a shark when you're a goldfish. You might get lucky once, but eventually, the shark wins. The Lightning left its mark everywhere. In Europe, that fork-tailed silhouette became a symbol of American air power. In the Pacific, it became a symbol of doom for Japanese pilots. It flew from Alaska to Australia, from England to Italy, from China to the Philippines. Everywhere American forces fought, the P-38 was there. And everywhere it went, enemy pilots learned the same lesson. That strange-looking twin-boom fighter? It wasn't a joke. It wasn't awkward. It wasn't slow. It was one of the deadliest planes in the sky. One of the fastest. One of the toughest. One German pilot captured late in the war was asked what scared him most. He didn't say the big bombers. He didn't say the British Spitfires. He said the Lightning. Those twin-boom devils that appeared from nowhere, hit like a freight train, and disappeared before you could react. He said every time he saw one, his hands would start shaking on the controls. He flew 30 missions. He survived. He said the only reason he survived was that he ran every time he saw a P-38, every single time. The Germans had mocked the P-38 when they first saw it. They'd laughed at its strange shape. They joked about its size.
They said it looked like something built by a committee. But Klaus Hoffmann, that German pilot over Iceland in August 1942, he never laughed. He never joked. He died in the first minutes of the first P-38 combat mission over Europe, shot down before he could warn anyone. The lightning had arrived, and the Luftwaffe would never be the same. By the end of the war, over 10,000 P-38 Lightnings had been built. They'd flown in every theater. They'd shot down thousands of enemy planes. They'd destroyed countless ground targets. They'd taken millions of reconnaissance photos. Every German and Japanese pilot who ever saw that distinctive twin-boom shape diving out of the sun, the fork-tailed devil, der Garberschwanz-Teufel, the Lightning, America's twin-boom destroyer that proved you can't judge a plane by its looks. You judge it by its speed, its guns, and its record. And the P-38's record spoke for itself. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button. Next week, we'll look at another weapon that changed the war. Another piece of American engineering that caught the enemy completely off guard. Until then, remember, sometimes the strangest-looking weapon is the deadliest one.